Hello and welcome to the Work Hates podcast. I'm Bron Lewis. This is Bretty Blake. Everyone has a nightmare work story, whether it is a shit boss, a dreadful workplace, or an insufferable colleague. And if you've had none of those things, chances are you're the problem.
You are the problem. Today we are joined by comedian, director, and all-around funny guy, Jay Morrissey.
Yay.
Oh my Lord, I'm so excited to have you on. Now, if you guys don't know, Jay has you got part of Hot Dad Productions, but also you created an incredible movie called Emu Wars, which I fucking love. It is crook, it's funny, it's everything I wanted and more.
Thanks so much. Yeah, the Emu War.
Emu War.
Oh my God.
No, but it's so
guys.
weird.
I'm sorry. I haven't had my meds today.
No, it's so weird how everyone calls it, like everyone says Emu Wars, like people who worked on it, and it's like a really weird sort of butterfly effect thing. Like you're in the majority.
Great.
I haven't started. Like I know that.
Well, when you search for it, that's probably a big pain in the ass.
That's surely not what's like annoying you. Like what is? Because I understand that Emu Wars. Is that how you said it? Or
Emu Wars.
So you said Emu Wars is maybe different to the Emu War.
Right. Oh, it's the Emu War.
Just one specific war.
Only one happened.
Yes. Oh, that's why. It
wasn't
like
Star Wars. They're like warring all over the world.
The World War IIs. Or that's not a bad example.
Or Olympic.
Yeah. Okay. There was only one Emu War. Now, so this war on emus is a true story. And it's insane. Can you fucking tell us a little bit about this? I'm excited.
Yeah. So it was a true story. It happened in 1932. It was I think it was like a PR thing it was like during the Depression.
Yep.
The government was like, we got to be seen to be doing some good stuff for the West Australian farmers. Okay. So they were like, a lot of them are out of work and they're army people. So we'll send them to war with there was an emu problem with the emus eating their crops and stuff. Okay. So they sent
pests.
And so that was it. But we didn't really care about that. Like we read the Wikipedia page and
that's enough.
Like a lot of other people are really interested in the true story, but we thought it was pretty boring.
But it feels like that is the story, like exactly what you just said. What else? What else would they want?
Yeah, well, it's like
that's it, mate.
Historical nerds love it. You know what I mean? Like that's not the correct gun they would have used.
Yeah, exactly. Right. People are obsessed with that. They're like, yeah, that's not a gun. That's a gun from World War II, which is afterwards. But yeah, like we just love, I love war movies. And so we were just like, great opportunity to just like do a sort of parody of like all our favorite.
Okay, all right. So this is what it's interesting to me is that I feel like a lot of blokes when they get to a certain age turn to like war and become obsessed with it and like and all of the movies are about have some kind of violence and war in it and historical stuff and they're just like I am like living through my ancestors and this is how I pay respect for all of the sacrifices they made for me in Germany. So my partner is obsessed with World War II. Obsessed. He's Polish, but he's like, I'm like, this. You know, you lost heaps of things. Like you should not be proud. of it.
Don't talk. You didn't do well, mate. Yeah. Have another shot of vodka, champ. Eat a potato. You guys were fucked.
But every single time he has a birthday, we have to watch Downfall. You watch Downfall?
Downfall, is that the one with zombies and stuff?
No, that didn't have. Zombies aren't real.
It's like zombies World War II and zombies. Hell yeah, dude.
They're the same, right?
I'll come into this movie night. It sounds great.
What's Downfall?
It's like a zoomed in version of like Hitler's actual downfall. So it's like right when he's like succeeding, and then how it all fell apart for him, and it's in German. And so, yes, we have to read subtitles. I'm not sure if you guys can read, but we have to, once a year, we will watch Downfall. Or if he's coming down from like a big night, he'll be like, can we please, Bronny, please, can we watch Downfall?
You know what helped this hangover? Reading a novel.
Yeah,
fucking hell.
But he loves it so much. So it's like the whole thing of like the kids getting the cyanide and like and the mum putting them all to sleep. And it's really grim. Like, as you know. It's grim, but he loves it so much because he's like, but Bron, this actually happened. How amazing. I'm like, heaps of things have actually happened and I don't need to watch a movie about it. In fact, heaps of things happened. I don't want to watch a movie. Like Hotel Rwanda, I don't ever want to watch that. Too sad for me.
Yeah.
Too sad for me.
Let's watch kids eat cyanide. Yeah. Nah, I'm good.
But it's weird. Like it's such a gendered thing is blokes get really invested in the historical nature of war and then is it something that you guys think is going to happen again here?
The thing I like about the war movies is like I just like how, you know, like they're so earnest.
Yes.
And like the men are like, I wrote you letters every day, and I love you so much, and like, and they're like, and I won't fire a gun, but I want to represent my country.
Yeah, right.
And they're, I love that quivery voice that
Okay.
they do, where they're just like, we got to go behind enemy lines, otherwise it's, like all that sort of stuff, and it's all just so like, I love the movie War Horse.
Yes.
Just like he's going to find his horse.
That's
Right.
beautiful.
Just like, I don't know,
Hacksaw
Saving Private.
Ridge. I cried
Hacksaw
during
Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge. He refused to pick up a gun. He was a medic. Me and James Masters, when we lived together, were like crying on the couch, like, oh my God.
So I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge, like the whole time, it's all just too, like over the top. Like
Okay,
it's
so-
almost like a comedy. Like
Yeah.
he's just
Right.
like, it's kind of just
Where's-
silly the whole time.
And also,
Like,
where are some, like, I always feel like none of those personalities really exist. You'd be like, brother, I'm not fucking going over there. They are shooting at me.
Yeah.
Fuck that. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
I guess this is like, because maybe it is a nostalgic thing that you guys can't actually relate to, this idea of patriotism that was so omnipresent in like, the 40s. But you respect it. You're like, how amazing would it be to love something so much that you like something intangible like patriotism or like nationalism.
Do you know what I like about it? You don't have to have a job, and you can just kind of fuck around and walk around and you shoot and shit. There's no. It's
That's
kind
what
of
you like about it,
Yeah,
Bretty?
it's kind of
It
the
doesn't
man.
survive.
I would pray for a zombie apocalypse. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm good to
What?
go. No,
Would you
because you
fight
don't
'em?
have to do any of this. This is all boring. You
What
know
are
what I
you
mean?
talking about?
If zombies came, that'd be exciting. Every
But
day
you
would be
might die.
exciting.
You might die.
Yeah, but that's exciting. This
So
is
what would
boring.
you do in your zombie apocalypse fantasy?
Is the next movie's being written as
Man,
we
I'll
speak?
grab. Well, first of all, I'll grab my go bag. I'll get my guns, and I would
What's
head
a
out
go
bush. Go bag. It's like full of yeah. Here we go.
a
Here we
go
go. Here's
bag?
Brett. So I got a bag. I can take it, and I can go live out in the middle of nowhere for 2 weeks.
You've
with
got
food.
that next to your handbag?
I've got
The
it in my
front
house. You
door?
don't need to know. We don't. People who preppers don't tell you where our stuff
You
is. Dude.
have
That's
a go
awesome.
bag.
Yeah, I have a go bag. Of course, I have a go
And
bag.
what's in it? Can you just like give me a couple of
No, I'm not
examples?
telling you
Just
exactly
give
what's in there.
examples.
But
I've
there's
got
a
copy
water
your go bag.
filtration system. There's food I can last 2 weeks. There's some other psychotic things
Do
you don't
you
know about.
actually have that?
Yes. Why does that shock anyone?
It doesn't.
That's very funny.
I've got so much dried food.
What are you
I-
square of? What's going to happen?
No, I just
like for
I
example,
like it.
what's an
I'm like,
example?
fuck yeah, I'm going to be out there and living. I don't know what's going to happen. You
What's
know,
the closest
China
you've
could
gotten
invade.
to like, grabbing
your
it?
go
Yeah.
bag.
When the virus hit, I was like, I'm fucking going bush, baby.
Oh, you've had it for that long. It
yeah,
wasn't like
yeah. I've had.
You should have done it. Like when
Well-
Victoria locked down, you should have taken the go bag and
Yeah.
gone.
This is what I get angry about because I started. I had a girlfriend at the time.
Oh, she didn't
and
have a
I
go
had
bag.
the go bag. I was like, babe, we're getting a fucking Airbnb out in the bush. Let's fucking go. And she's like, I think it will. And I was like, I listened to her. I shouldn't have. I love you, Fee. You're amazing. But I was like, and we're like 6 months in. I was like,
Yeah.
Brett was right. And I was like, we should have got an Airbnb out in the fucking middle of nowhere. It would have been awesome. And then instead I was stuck in South Yarra going, I'm going to bash this cunt at the IGA if he steals this.
So you haven't ever used it.
No, and also, well, no, not technically. But then I was like, damn it, the virus. I did not prepare for viruses. So I was more like,
Yeah,
I was
right.
more like, if there's
Zombies.
like zombies.
Yeah. Normal
China, that's definitely happening.
Normal stuff.
Normal stuff.
Normal stuff.
Yeah.
I did think it would be very exciting, like during the lockdowns. Like, I mean, I wasn't going to do it, but I was like to try and escape. Like there were army checkpoints for the country
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like sneaking around them. Like that would be
does
very
Dude,
exciting.
I've got a bush bike. I'll just fucking go. There's if those cunts were going to go off road. They're like sitting on a road, like, brother, I got the whole forest. See ya. Bye.
I feel like this is how you spent your lockdown, Bretty, was like planning an escape. Like, Fee, they wouldn't catch me. I'll just go through here. I've got a dirt bike. She's like, yeah, righto.
Well, when
Okay.
mum was sick during lockdown, I was like, I'll go there. She's like, you can't get to WA. I was like, watch me, cunt. I fucking could get through WA,
Yeah.
100%.
Because like a lot of, like you have to go.
So
like, you
one
could go
road,
through
they'd be on
people's-
one road, like 3 fat idiot police officers, like, oh, I'm like, see ya. Like, you're at a K inland. They don't have checkpoints all the way up.
I lived at the time for a lot of it in Brisbane, and some of the gigs were in like New South Wales because right on the border, and there would be people checking things, but they didn't care. Like they were like, right, we don't. All right, we're like, I'm just going to go to a comedy night, and they're like, yeah, that sounds essential. Off you go.
And I had the trade card or whatever, and I just like, I'm like, yeah, I'm working construction. You're like, 8 o'clock. Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Don't care.
I think that Victoria was very different to everywhere else.
Victoria was pretty psycho.
like, it was a bit of a mess. But where did you get this idea of a go bag? I've never heard of one
Man,
before.
Netflix, dude. I'm a prepper. I love watching prepping shows.
Where are you going to go with the go bag
Great
eventually?
question.
That's a great question. Haven't thought that far ahead. No.
You got to find
nah.
you got to like put a one of those containers.
Yeah, you bury the container.
Bury the container. Yeah.
My mate.
Right.
I do have a
above the
place.
ground as well. But
Yeah,
My mate
bury it?
Mitchie's got a lot of acreage, and he's also of a similar mindset.
Is he? Is that why he's got
I'm not
lots of
talking about
acreage?
it. We can't.
Oh,
we
you
don't
don't know.
talk about it.
Which state is he in?
You don't worry about what state he's in.
I'm not going to ask his address.
This is how they get you, mate.
No one's coming
They're
for
coming,
you.
mate. They're
The
bloody
zombies-
coming. I've got me bloody full hat on. They're coming.
The zombies in China.
Zombies in China, mate. The two biggest threats to Brett.
But it is the thing. It is the thing as blokes. Do you know any women that are obsessed with war?
no.
Isn't that weird? Do
Yeah.
you think that's weird? Or is it just me? Why do you think you guys
Well, I
are
think it's
more-
weird to be obsessed with war for sure. I mean, but you've
Are
got
you
to.
a bit? You like war movies? And it
Yeah.
sounds like you like that, that line where blokes are like really brave and tough, but also quite vulnerable.
Yeah,
Is
no,
that
but I
what you
think
like?
I think it's all pretty. I think that the war movies are kind of stupid, and that's why I was
Oh
like
my
sort
God.
of like
Bretty
making
can't
fun of
breathe.
them a little
No,
bit.
no. I
You know what I mean?
the
Like-
joy of being,
Yeah.
you can see both sides. You're like, I do get caught away in it, but you can be like, yeah, that is fucking dumb. You know what I mean? And a lot of it to me is like, it's propaganda. You know what I mean? Like a little bit
Right.
as well. Going like, if something happens, we've all got to get together and fucking.
And you're on your way out.
I'm out.
into
I'm
the
on my
fuck
bike.
boys.
See you later, cunt.
Yeah.
Man, I will say, if you want to know the mindset of people, and you're going like, everyone's cool, everyone was chill during the lockdown. I went to pick up. Yes, I have a bow and arrow, and I was
Yes.
Is it in your go bag?
No, it's in the shed. But when I go, the bow will be coming
On
with
your
me.
back?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
so
Merida
I
from
got
How
Right.
many arrows have you got?
Like
because
12.
once you run out of arrows.
That's
12,
right.
six ones, and then ones like they're pig ones. You can't get them out. They really fuck your life. And they got like a razor. Yes, anyway, don't bring your kids to my house. My roommate's like, is that a gun
Can you
safe?
take
I'm
me
like,
with
"No."
you in the apocalypse?
Brother, you'll be dead weight. I'm so sorry. You are dead weight.
You'll bring me along and then eat me.
Oh, yeah. I'll make you like my mule. You'll carry my shit. Eventually you'll die. I'll eat you. Then I'll continue. But I got my bow was being restrung.
Yep.
And then this is just, I was like, fuck, I gotta pick up my bow.
Why was it? Why would it need to be? Is that just over time?
Over
it gets
time,
loose?
they get loose.
Not because you've
Yeah,
overused.
no, well, yeah, but it also just gets used.
What are you
get it
using it on?
serviced. I just shoot shit at home.
At home, at your house in
My
suburbia.
mates, once again, my mate's got properties and stuff. We
Oh,
go
you go-
out.
okay, you go to
and I was
properties.
going to get into pig hunting. I got a deer license. I was right into hunting about 2 or 3 years ago.
Balls and Babes.
Pardon?
Balls and Babes.
Balls and Babes. Hell yeah.
Have you heard of this magazine?
Balls and Babes.
Yeah, no, I have. I love.
right.
Yeah. It's
But-
great.
Great. See,
What-
that's the patriotism that we can relate to.
Chicks shooting
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe
grunters or something. Well, it's
like giant boars, like
yeah, no,
horrible-
but then it's like a babe and and
Yeah,
there's like a
she's in a
dead
bikini.
dead boar.
No,
Chicks smashing grunters. I thought was the name of the
That's
magazine.
beautiful.
And there's like, they're kind of rough looking women, but they've
Yeah.
always got like 2 million blokes follow them. Like, she's
Yeah.
the one for me.
Yeah, the comments are incredible. They're
dude.
just like, that's a woman right there.
That's a fucking woman right there. But so I went to like this. I was like, oh, well, I knew the lockdown was coming in. I was like, I'll go pick up my bow. And I was like, and I was shooting it in the house during lockdown into
in
toilet.
your house.
It was an apartment as well. Yeah, I was bored.
What? What
Yeah.
were you shooting at?
No, I set up all the cardboard boxes in the hallway, and then I had a little toilet roll in front of it, and I was bored.
And you were living with someone at this point?
No one was living with me
Okay,
at that
thank
stage. Then Fee eventually moved in and kind of put a stop to that.
Please stop shooting inside.
Yeah. Fucking women, am I right, dude?
Oh my
anyway,
God.
Brother.
But yeah, brother, don't even get me started. I've got to get rid of my compound bow, do I? Well, guess what? It's $900. I ain't. And so I went to pick up the bow, and I was like, this is a great thing for the human psyche. So bow shops normally empty, 2 psychos behind the counter. Love it. Always having a great yarn. There was 100 people at the bow shop buying bows because you don't need a gun license for a bow. And the guy's like, I was like, can I just pick up my bow? He's like, I've sold 3,000 bows today to these and there's all these like guys like, how do you fucking do this? And I was like, oh my God, he's gonna lose his arm, the skin of his arm. And it was just and he's like, I've never made he's like, nah, that one's like $2,000. They're like $800. The guy at this bow shop would have made so much fucking money that day. And I was like, oh my God, this could get real fucking insane this lockdown.
His go bag's made of gold.
And then so of course 6 months later I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna upgrade my bow because all these fuckheads will just put it on line like, and I'm like, it's only $200.
Have you thought about moving to Austin, Texas and trying to get on Joe's on the podcast?
Yes, I would love that.
You would go great on the podcast.
I would kill the podcast. But also I did because I watched.
Do you have theories? Do you have interesting theories about
the
stuff?
Thing is, I'm not a conspiracy guy.
Okay.
I gotta go back because I like the wilderness. I like hiking. I'm prepared. But that type of stuff, I don't even listen to that podcast. But I was in Austin. I was like, these are my people. Like some chick at the bar was showing me a gun. I was like, fuck, that is sick, dude.
Showing you her gun.
Yeah, you can open carry there. She's like, check this out. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. And
Did you hold it?
Yeah, it's a gun. It's sick.
Did you show her your bow and arrow?
No, I showed her a photo of me in a bow and arrow though. I was
Did
doing it
she
during
like
lockdown. I was like, send me a photo of your face. I'll print it off and I'll shoot you in the head. Okay, that's pretty insane. But anyway, it was for the Patreon people. If you wanted it, subscribe, guys, and I'll shoot an arrow through your head for $20.
Okay,
I would love it if you did that for me.
I would do that for you.
Thank you so
So
much.
Jay, your movie had huge success. Congratulations.
If you haven't seen it, please go watch it.
Please check it out. You know,
and people like it's not. Like, cause you see like actors in movies, how they are part of a movie and then they're like hands off at the end when it comes down to like them marketing it. Everyone who is involved in this movie has like continued to sell it. They're like, honestly, one of the best things I've been a part of. What was it like to make? Was it harder to make than you thought it was going to be, or was this the first movie you've ever made?
Yeah, definitely first movie, and yes, it was very hard. It was like we got the funding. The way we got the funding was sort of like we proposed a budget and the, Screen Australia was like, we can't give you that much. We're not going to.
Right.
2.8 billion.
Yeah.
Too much.
And we were like,
okay, school.
We were like hypothetically, like, how much would you give us? And
yeah.
And then like, if you were to give us any amount, what do you think the largest amount would be?
Very clever.
And they told us an amount that was about half of what it would probably cost to make it. And we were like, it's better than
nothing.
Than not making it. Yeah. So we made it, and it was like far too ambitious for the budget that we had.
Yeah.
And so everything was just like chaos the whole time. We didn't have enough crew. Like we didn't fill all the crew roles. And we were too like, just sort of, I always was like, you don't need prop, like a person just on props. And it's like, you do so badly,
yes.
Like every single crew role.
You don't need a first AD, and you're like, why is this taking 8 hours?
Yeah.
Like, you need a first AD yelling at everyone.
So we skipped out on like a bunch of, like everything was like, bare bones. Like the crew was always like the minimum we could get away with. Like we had a first AD, but like, just little things like particularly art department stuff, we were just doing it all ourselves. And so it'd just be like, it was just chaos.
A lot of continuity issues on this shoot.
With a parody, you can kind of get away with. Like if there's a mistake,
comedy,
it's like,
fine.
that's funny. That's funny. But you also want people to take it seriously as a film, right?
Definitely, Yes. But I think that's the thing. Like the thing about the film is like it is low budget. I feel like you kind of have to get into the spirit of it being low budget.
Yes.
But it's kind of part of the charm. Like I think a lot of it, it's puppet movie. Like the emus are portrayed by puppets that we made.
Did you know that, Bretty?
Yeah, I did because one of my favourite images, another comedian, Jonathan Schuster, who worked on it, he was in a blue suit and he's got the emu and he's got a little pot belly and you could just see him running around. And then he was telling us that you guys were like struggling to get like as a special effects budget. And he's like, but also if we just leave me running around with the emu, that's pretty pretty funny as well, dude. You can't really lose here.
Yeah, well, that was the whole thing was we were just like, no matter how far it falls, like, there's a big battle at the end. And we kind of had no idea how we were going to do it when we set out. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you started and you were like, let's just cross that hard bridge when we get to it.
Well, we had worked it out what we were going to do by the time we shot. But then, no, actually that's not true, because a lot of what we did was, there's a thing called like plates, you know? It's like where it's just an empty shot.
Okay.
Like just, so we were just shooting empty shots for the emus. And we were like, we will work out how to make that a battle later.
Okay.
Like, and so we were shooting the actors like in the foreground, like doing the on a blue screen, and then just plate, like just empty shots.
A plate,
And then we
plates
like,
in a field.
put it
could be
all
an empty
together
field,
in
and then
post.
in post, you put people into the shot. That's
Yep.
what a plate shot is. Yeah.
Yep.
For people
And
that are playing at home.
so so that's all we would. And so we had to figure all that out. And we did to a certain degree, but I guess the whole point was we were like, if it doesn't work, we could, just be like, I don't know, like I feel like it's a joke that's been done, but we talked about like just someone just watching the battle and just being like, oh my God, now this is happening. And now, you just like, no matter what, we were going to make it work one way or another, and just
battle would
figure
happen.
out a way, a funny way to do everything.
I like that style of filmmaking as well, because sometimes when you see big stuff and being on those sets, you're like, oh, these cunts are wasting so much time. And sometimes they go into big stuff and they're like, but they just kind of have like, then it changes or shifts. But when you're doing like ground up filmmaking, it's like, right, we don't have a budget for that. And sometimes you probably do a few things that are a little bit unsafe or whatever. And you're like, all right, we'll just have this guy hanging out of the car. But that's what's the most fun part. And that's one of my favorite parts of like film school is like, you're like, okay, I don't have a bounce, so I'll get a white truck and I'll put a fucking light into it. I'll make it work. And it's exciting how to figure that out.
And
you would have had to have done that with a little budget.
Absolutely, yeah. But then it's like you go on other sets and you see like, I feel like I've been on other comedy sets and it's like, big crew, and I feel like no one's thinking about it whether it's funny or not. Like everyone's just like doing their little piece of it. And then it's just like you're there like, I don't think it's very funny, like this scene or whatever. And no one seems to. Everyone's just like, but the cake in the background looks pretty good. Like everything's like.
Let's hope they look at that.
Oh no, just everybody like everybody's doing their like, the camera's in focus.
Yeah.
Like and it's like
Ronnie Chang told me a good one once. He was doing one of his shows or something he's been in, and like rolling or whatever, and he like does this thing in a particular way, and he's like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm in this vein. This is so funny. And the guy goes, wait. Sorry, there's no pop playing in the background. He's like, what the it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
The pop playing doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? I get it if it's the drama. But like comedy is like, no one cares. Yeah. That's why like the lower budget comedies, like even Tires on Netflix, focused on the script. Like no one, like it's just in a shit factory. No one cares. It's like, that's comedy,
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
And so you had a pretty good cast, like an excellent cast. You had heaps of Australian.
Who was the biggest nightmare?
Was it hard to convince anyone to take part?
God, we
or
got
was
a lot
everyone like super ready to go, like begging to be on it?
They're mainly people we know and are friends with and stuff. So so I guess that's like an advantage of, being around the sort of Melbourne comedy scene and stuff. Just like pulling favors and stuff. Who was...
and you've also got a good history of like, if you haven't seen Hot Dad production stuff, like those comedy sketches you do are like fucking next level. They're so funny. Like, so you've already you've got a back catalogue of people. People want to be in your stuff, like they're all good series, I still think about that Ben Russell one with it when he's like a psychic and he finds the bodies in the fridge and shit like that. Like that one kills me. There's so many great ones.
Okay.
Like
Thanks,
all of Ocean Girl, like when Goxie's Ocean Girl. Just Goxie as that's like, great. But the scripts are great.
Instantly.
Goxie's funny instantly, but the scripts always aren't just Goxie going, I'm confused. They're great scripts as well,
Yeah. And I love Goxie, like when he's just like, just get him to act really seriously. And it's just there's something very, just as you said, like he's just instantly funny.
Watching him do anything is funny. And then I try and make him play an earnest part would be absolutely so hard to not laugh at the whole way through. So having that meant such an enormous cast, was it hard? Like, because how long did it take to make?
It was like 24-day shoot. And
is that it? Just over 3 weeks.
But then it took like 6 years. Like, the planning and like from when we started to getting the funding was a huge process. It took years. We shot it over COVID, so that like
Yeah.
we kept getting shut down and
Oh,
having to
how annoying.
reschedule and like doing it, and we were like doing it during.
Dude, I had a
COVID.
property. I could have told you about it. We could have gone
man.
to the bush, you know?
Could have
Oh
shot
my
anyone
god!
who was
I got
playing
enough
up.
food for like 8 of us.
Oh man, I want it all to happen now, and I know
Brett's
I'm like
sake.
I know I'm gonna get eaten, but I'm like.
I just want to see Brett's Instagram
I'm just
account.
like,
I'm like,
God, dude, you're good.
Yeah.
That is a fucking smart that you thought to do that. You know? Tripwires, like people coming, like a family coming, they're like, we need help. And then like you've got like a little tripwire and the whole family explodes or
Fuck
something.
yeah.
Not on
dude.
my watch.
yeah, but
Yeah.
also like realistically, like I live
Yeah.
in Coburg now, probably like 2 streets away, I'd crash and die. Like just with a car full of food. I'm like,
Go bag goes everywhere.
yeah. Oh, God, not my stuff, not my stuff. Don't pick on me.
So with such a huge cast during COVID, obviously there were lots of logistical. What was the hardest part about making this? If you take away the money, if money wasn't a thing, what was the hardest part about making a film in Australia?
I mean, so many different things, but
Yeah.
like the special effects was really like a horrible sort of, because we didn't know much about, and there's like 350 like visual effects shots in the
And they
film.
look great now, but I know the struggle of it, you know?
Yeah, so that was crazy, and it was like, I mean, I don't want to shit on this guy too much, but there was a guy who agreed to do it and then just
Doxy.
didn't do it. No,
That's us.
trusted
He got Goxy. He's like, yeah, I can do it.
I'll
50
do
bucks.
it. Yeah. But I mean, may as well have been Goxy for like all the good he did us, because
Right.
and it was kind of like this weird thing where it's like we couldn't afford to pay it had to be like a very like low rate that these people working at, and they
But
had
you also
to like
needed
really
quite a lot of experience for what you wanted. So that's a tricky
Yeah.
thing. So you needed someone to do it out of like the love of
passion. Almost
Yeah.
everybody had to do it out of the kind of
Yes.
just like wanting to do it, and very grateful that everyone did. But like, yeah, just there was a guy who basically like set the film back like a year because he just didn't do it, and he kept saying like he could have quit at any time,
Yeah.
and would have been completely fine, but he just kept going like, yeah, no, it's all coming along, and I'm like, can you show us anything? And then it's like I'm like, it's like I'm making the film with like John and Lisa sort of were the main people doing the post-production with me, and so they're like, how is it, what's happening?
Yeah.
And I was like, because I was talking to him, and
is
so that
this
sucks.
COVID
And-
still happening at this point? Or is COVID
no,
finished?
for
I
the
was
most
going to say,
part,
if
yeah.
it's COVID, you have nothing else to do but think about that. Like you've got nothing else going on, everything's closed, and if that guy's just sitting there, sitting on his hands, you're like, can you just show us one fucking thing?
Yeah, so that was it. But then we eventually
got rid of him.
we got rid of him, but it was crazy because it was like we had gotten into a film festival, which was like they had basically like accepted the film based on like just the actors with blue screens behind them.
Sure.
Like it was like edited,
Wow.
but then just like, so it got into this film festival,
Oh my God.
which it had to screen at. And then the guy like quit like 3
did
weeks
quit.
before that.
Oh, God.
And so we had other people working on it by this point.
This
like
guy
I had,
sounds like a fucking idiot. How annoying.
he was a nightmare.
I hope he dies. Is that too much? I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
he
at war now.
Yeah, he he will. We all will.
We all will. I'll put cyanide in his drink. Yeah. Hitler got you.
I need to borrow Bretty's boat.
Yeah.
But
I'll give you the pig arrow. We'll fuck him up, He won't be able to get it out.
but it was funny because it was like grand final day and I was quite drunk. It was like, and I hadn't heard from him for a week, and he called me and he was like, I'm not going to do it. Like I'm quitting. And it was 3 weeks before the festival.
What was his reason? Like, it's too hard, or you guys are nagging me too much?
Or just like, I just am too stressed about it, and I don't think I can get it done, and I'm just overwhelmed.
And
all
at
that
this
sort of
point,
stuff.
has he done anything?
Like, not that much, and the stuff he had done was very bad. Like, so it was sort of
Shit.
like, so anyway, and so it was so funny because I just watched the whole grand final and I was a bit drunk, and so I sort of was like, this is like unacceptable, which is, I don't know, I'm non-confrontational sort of person. And so, and then anyway, so I started sort of like giving him a bit of a spray, And then his partner like took the phone off and started yelling at me.
No,
and I was like, "Can you?"
Sorry, ma'am. Can you please put him back?
Yeah, no, but I was like, "Can you pass on to can you pass on to him that this is super embarrassing that you've taken the phone off him?" And she's like, "How dare you?" Like, bro.
Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed.
It sucked.
So embarrassing.
But
I
then
hope he's still embarrassed.
Everything, no, but sometimes things happen for a reason. I think.
Right. You didn't
and then the guy,
the guys who took it on, they were doing like 14-hour days to get it done, and they got it done in 3 weeks. Like they did.
Oh wow!
I reckon. And what screened at that film festival was like an incomplete, but it was like complete enough for it to be like a good.
And again, because it's a comedy,
premiere.
if there's a mistake in there, if it's a bit silly, it's like that's
Whatever.
fine. Yeah, because you got Goxie in probably the same scene as something goes wrong.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. He really shone in that film, I must say. God, he's so good. I wonder if he knows how funny he is, or if he actually thought that was a serious film.
Yeah, it's
It's his downfall. So if that does sound really hard, and that guy, did you have to pay him money throughout?
Yeah,
that time?
no, I feel like it was it's like I think we gave him like $5,000.
No.
And it's like, but you can't get it back. It's too hard to get it back.
No,
What are
the
you?
lady's going to yell at you.
Yeah.
She spent it.
And also sometimes people like they're doing, everyone goes like, I can do this, and then you're like, oh fuck, and then they've done time on it. It's just not good time, and you're like, fuck. Like I've paid out people before many moons ago when you're just like, yeah, this is shit, and I'm not using it.
But you still probably have done.
You've done the work, and here's the hours, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll go fucking pick up a shift at Coles to fucking.
Well, if you even if you've applied to comedy, someone, there's this room in Western Australia that the guy who runs it was like, oh, I'm so annoyed. I had this MC not that long ago who he contacted me and he said, hey, I've headlined for you before. Can I please have a spot? And he goes, and I didn't like double check. I just thought, fuck, if he's headlined for me before, then surely he'll be good. He goes, yeah, you can do a run here. I'll fly you over. You do 2 weeks and put you in a hotel for those 2 weeks and I'll pay you good money. And the guy was like, yeah, okay. And he goes, and it was a lot of money. So, and the guy said, yeah. And so he came over, and the first night he went out, he could not MC at all. Like, he just went through the whole front row. He goes, hello, what's your name? And she's just like, Jane. And he's like, what do you do? She's like, oh, I work at Coles. And he goes, oh, cool. Hey, mate, what's your name? And the guy's like, Peter. And he
This
goes,
sounds like a lot of emceeing I've done.
Yeah, I'm a mechanic. And he goes, great. And he said he went through the whole front row, and the room runner was like, what the fuck is going on? He comes off and he goes, oh, I don't need you. Like, I'll pay you out. I'll pay for, and you can stay for as long as you want. Enjoy Western Australia. This is on me. And so as he was explaining it to me, his story, he said, but it's the guy's fault as well. If I told him the fee and it was a huge amount of money, surely he should have said, I'm too inexperienced for that amount of money. I was like, who the fuck would say that?
Yeah.
Who would say that? Because you'd go, well, I could do it. Like, I might not be the best at it, but I could do it. So your guy would have been like, this makes sense to me that you're giving me this much money for the skills that I've got.
Yeah. No, I feel like there was a bit of that. And we just didn't know anybody that did VFX. Like, before,
how many?
before
Where do you find these people? They're not
Yeah.
just on fucking Google. It's a very niche job unless you go to these big crazy production houses, which you're like, yeah, man, it's fucking 80 grand, and they fucking put you in a suite, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Even when I got a grant for a commercial when I was in film school, and the whole idea was Cert 3 kids. This is a long-winded story, which gets to
Cert 3 kids.
Cert 3. At TAFE for film, and the kids in Cert 3 were always asked to pitch for this advanced diploma ad. There was 2 ads every year, and it was always about road safety ad, and they gave you 10 grand. And I did a really good pitch because I knew this. I bumped into this chick who did fucking makeup, and I made myself look like I was in a car crash, had glass in my face and all this shit. Did this crazy pitch, and I got the 10 grand to do it, even though one of the advanced diploma kids didn't. And we did this crazy shoot, but you don't realize how we're like 10 grand. We're going to have so much change. It's 30 seconds. And they said you can keep whatever's left over. I was like, man, I'm going to have 5 grand in my pocket. Fuck yeah. And then we did the shoot and we did some sketchy shit. Like we were in my dad was driving. Actually, it wasn't Dad. It was Jason down the road. He had about 4 beers and he was driving his ute and we're in the back with the camera and I think Dad was in an EL Falcon just swerving to kind of look like an accident. All this crazy shit that they didn't approve. End up looking kind of good, but we wanted it because I was obsessed with Chopper. So I wanted it to, because Chopper was shot on 16mm and it had this crazy colour grade from Melbourne. And we had like $4,000 left because we did a lot of guerrilla shit at the end. And I said to him, man, we can do anything. Let's go and get it colour graded in Melbourne. We'll get our flights paid. We'll go stay on a mate's floor. And then they were like, man, we were in there for like maybe 25, 30 minutes because he kind of knew what we wanted straight away and he did it super quick. And it was like $2,500.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you walk in there, they're like, hello, come this way. And you're in a suite, they've got a fruit platter and you're like, this is nice. And he's like, so what do you think about this? I was like, just make it look like Chopper. And he goes, okay. And does like a 3 things on the dial. And he goes, what about that? I go, that looks like Chopper. Hell yeah. And then we just walked down. We're like $2,500. So imagine.
Can I have this kiwi fruit, Bart?
Yeah, I was like fucking just eating fucking pastrami and shit, But yeah, it's fucking expensive.
Yeah. So have you got, has this deterred you from making another film?
No, definitely not. Yeah. No, I think
So it was all worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we'd do it properly next time, just make sure we get, the amount of budget that we need.
Well, now you can, right? Because you've got a resume that says this is how I've got a successful film under my belt.
Yeah.
If you give me money, I'll be even more successful.
That would be certainly what I would hope happens.
Okay, so this is a successful work story. Surely, and before you did this, you were doing stand-up.
Yep.
And you've given up stand-up. Yep, fair call. It is hard, it is brutal, and quite often very unrewarding. But before you did stand-up, what is the worst job you've ever had? We ask everyone this.
Yeah. I worked at Crown Casino.
Oh,
hell yeah. Say the name as well. We're coming after the big dogs.
Brett's been there before, haven't you, Bretty?
Fuck, I've been kicked out a few times. I got 2 live bands from the Perth one.
Damn.
Yeah.
2?
All right.
2,
How'd
yeah.
they let you back in?
God, I knew the head of security and he let me back in if I behaved myself and then they banned me again.
I used to love watching people in the break rooms. You'd watch people get escorted out in handcuffs and stuff.
Oh my God.
I love that.
What for? Just for yelling
Fighting.
at people?
I guess they just, fighting, grabbing chips, doing whatever, just anything.
A lot of desperate people in there. They've just lost their house and their marriage in one go.
Yeah.
So,
but it's funny because I hated all the people that were gambling.
Yeah.
Because they're just, I feel like it's people at their worst and
yes.
but
Bretty?
you're just a bit
Yes.
like Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Where you're just this is filth. Look at all this filth around me. I want to just wash it all. Flush it all down the toilet, I don't know. I feel I was, I hated it.
Where did you play? What did you, were you on
I did poker and roulette and stuff.
Oh, you did all of them?
Yeah.
Rounds?
Yeah, just both of those. And
were you when you won, you
them.
sucked in cunts? Or were you I want them to win? Or
I wanted them to lose, passionately.
Yeah,
I
wow.
was I hated them all.
Yeah,
right. I'd look at them and I'd feel I hope you lose.
Do you reckon that's where the casino wants you to be? Do they want all of their people to be like you, win for the casino?
I think that they probably just want to be just be fun and good. I feel I deterred people from gambling. I did my part for stopping,
good.
Because I was bad at the job and I had a bad demeanor and I did it badly and made the casino brought down the sort of the vibes.
This is your community service. This is your drink driving app.
you were helping them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But a funny thing I think that happened. I had lots of funny experiences with the managers. I felt just the managers immediately above the dealers were just the worst.
Yes.
And they
because they're not important enough to be important.
Is it the pit bosses? That's the pit boss.
What?
No, I think the pit boss is one
supervisor.
above. There's supervisor sort of supervisors who they're basically they were dealers 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And then now they're just they sucked.
I know exactly what you're talking about. They've got a whiff of power and
Yeah,
Extra
exactly.
$2 an hour. Yeah. I'm gonna get sucked off tonight by someone who's lower than me. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I don't know if everyone's
That is that
ready.
energy though. A lot of dudes have that energy. Yeah.
Definitely, but there was a guy who one of those managers gave me a lift home one night, and we were driving past and there was a billboard of Miranda Kerr And I don't know, there was like a sort of a story, I think, at the time that she was dating James Packer to some extent.
Okay, yeah.
And he was just like,
that.
yeah, and he was like proudly, like, our boss is having a bit of that.
No, he doesn't know who you are, you loser.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh God, I think about that all the time. Like,
Yeah.
What car was he driving, by the way? I really need to know this to frame the story. Some piece of shit.
Yeah, a shit car. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
but a bad car. Him and me were both poor men.
Yeah.
And we're part of this.
Yeah,
So
and it was just
technically,
like,
Look
Yeah.
at these losers, they're filth. And you
Yeah.
go get into the bad car going like, yeah, one day our boss is going to root her, you know?
And
Yeah.
so technically that means we're kind of rooting her, so that's pretty
Exactly,
cool. Up top, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there was that sort of vibe, I feel like, the whole time. And they were just like always, I don't know, there's just like heaps of stories like that. They were all like, I feel like they were just like men who hadn't seen the sun in like,
Yes.
20
there's
years.
no windows,
Yeah.
right?
No windows.
It's
Clocks,
designed
no
that
windows.
You don't know what time it is.
Put oxygen into the fucking air vents,
Yeah.
keep everyone awake.
Wow.
And they were just like, some people were permanent nights. I was like day and night, but like some people permanent nights and they work full time.
like shift
Like,
work.
yeah. So
hell.
you work from like 8 in the morning, 8 at night till 4 in the morning.
No.
Like,
What do you
40
do?
hours a week. Yeah.
Oh,
And you think people don't gamble at 8 a.m., but you are wrong.
yeah.
They are
no,
there.
I know. I live near the Moreland Hotel. Do you know Brunswick at all? Or Coburg?
Yeah. Moreland Hotel.
We live
sure.
at Moreland Hotel. It's famous in Melbourne for being the end of the world, but it has this incredible interior. So it's like there's lots of like young families that go there because like it's got a sky painted on the roof. It looks so silly, and there's like a little play centre, and the mums can have a wine, and the kids can play in the most revolting play centre in the world, and you laugh about it, then you leave. But if you walk past the pokies bit, it is rammed.
Yeah.
It is full of these of people just like gambling absolutely everything away, and it opens at night. It's open at 9 a.m. till 5 a.m.
Johnny
the whole
Katz
day.
works there. We've got to get
I
him
know.
on the
I
pod.
walk past. Yeah,
He's seen 2 dead bodies.
Shit.
In
At
the
the
ba-
Moreland.
Yeah, in the bathroom. He's like, man, 2 dead bodies.
Yeah,
Insane.
that's fucked.
In different
well,
days.
But at 9, because it opens
Yeah,
at 9
oh my
a.m.
God.
There's a line for people to get into the pokies room.
Oh boy.
And,
Yeah.
and it's on Moreland Road, so it's a busy road. So all these people are driving past. Imagine being in the middle of the line and everyone's driving past going, fuck, what? Look how depressing that looks. And you're just in it. Like it's just bizarre to me how powerful pokies are. So when you walk past, it was the most depressing part of the pokies bit?
Yeah. I mean, it was all pretty depressing, but yeah, definitely the pokies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, pokies is like, yeah. So I remember there was like an old like Chinese woman who won a jackpot. Like it might have been like 5 o'clock in the morning, and
Oh, she put in the hard yards.
yeah,
She deserved it. Yeah.
and it was just
She's a
like
night shift.
and you're just like, well, that's the thing. It's like all the people who played, like part of the reason I hated the players was because they were kind of like your managers as well. Like they worked more hours than you did.
Yeah.
Like most of them.
Ah.
So they'd be like telling you, they'd be like, you're not supposed to call no more bets that quickly. And I'd be like,
Fuck off.
you're not supposed to lose your house or whatever. Like, like it's just like, like they were just, I don't know. They would always be
calling
telling
your
you.
daughter back about refinancing.
Like, yeah, they were genuinely like kind of, and they had this real sense of like, part of the experience I think was kind of torturing me. Like, oh no,
Yeah.
like, it was like, they were sort of like gambling. I feel like, they were sort of like, like James Bond a little bit, like for that
Yeah.
moment or whatever.
They
Yeah.
thought it was classy, but you
Yeah.
just knew it was depressing. And what was even more depressing is these people who were at like rock bottom were telling you what to do. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not down there with you, brother.
Yeah,
I'm
well.
actually, actually,
Same car in the car park. You know what I mean? Yeah, different energy on the table.
Yeah.
But have you heard of Miranda Kerr? Let's talk about her for a minute.
Man, I've actually been kicked out of that casino as well.
Yeah,
You know,
we go
there's a
for it.
fancy room called the Mahogany Room.
Yep.
So it's a VIP, high rollers are only
How'd
allowed
you
in.
get in
Well,
there?
it's okay. So a mate of a mate's dad owns this big concreting company in Perth. They got Lambos. Somehow we know them.
Yep.
He's in town. I'm friends with his mate. And his mate's like, Blakey, fuck yeah, let's go send it to the casino. I'm like, I've just come over from Perth. I'm like, hell yeah, love the casino, love gambling. Right, get there. He happens to be there. He's
I
like,
would have seen them and just been like,
You
yeah.
hated him
well,
so
this
much.
kid's a fucking annoying cunt as well, and I don't really
Yeah.
like him, but I like his mate. We've been family friends, used to live over the fence or whatever. And he's like, we're going to the mahogany room. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, and I've got no money. So I'm in the mahogany, they get me in the mahogany room because they're like, because their parents spend like $1 million gambling a night. It's crazy. They get us in there, and I think I walk up to a table, and I was like 50, but it was like, I'm pretty sure it was like 50,000, or maybe I've exaggerated this story. It was all these square chips.
Yeah, they're the expensive ones.
Yeah.
Like,
so do they actually do $50,000 bets?
I think that the smallest square one is like 25,000.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So I haven't just made it up, but I saw 50. I thought $50.
Yeah, 50 cents. I got a 50
Yeah,
cent
I put $50 down, and they're like, no. And I was like, oh, I can't gamble here. And my mate,
because that's heaps of money, especially when you're skinned. To put
50
that
was
down,
heaps, and they're
you would
like-
have been like impressed.
and the vibe was not good for Brett, and I've got this energy, and I just looked like this. And my mate's like, man, don't worry. And I was like, oh, fuck. And the bouncers are like looking at this like, what the fuck is this cunt doing in here? And they're like, don't be, I was a bit pissed as well. And they go, and he goes, man, it's free drinks here. Just go to the bar. Don't be a pain. You can order whatever you want for free. I was like, even the top shelf? And I was like, yeah. And I went up to the bar. I was like, fuck yeah, top shelf. And I was like, Grey Goose. I heard that one's good. I was like, can I get a Grey Goose? And he goes, with what? And I went, and I saw like, I was like, I think it was like, oh, do you guys have Monster Energy? And they're like, and then the bouncer goes, mate, you're coming with me. And they just booted me out. Yeah.
Oh, from your drink order.
Yeah,
No,
I
to
saw
be
a
fair,
can of Monster. Might have been. I was like, maybe they do Monster here,
was
and they're
his.
like, absolutely fucking not. Get out. And I was like, fuck, and I didn't even get a free drink. I was so dirty on them.
Well, that's probably
It's
the
behind a
best
fake
way.
wall as well. This room, it's cool.
It's the best way for you to get kicked out, surely.
Yes,
It's just you
that's
ordered
the
wrong
nicest way I've been
thing.
kicked out of the casino.
Yeah, it's
I liked
beautiful.
it.
That's
They were
actually a
very
really
nice to
pretty
me. Yeah.
story. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
In
what
fact,
is?
you were the hero of that story.
I
think.
was.
Yeah.
Working class man. Oh, sorry, my 50's not welcome here.
Did you get to keep it, or they take it?
I took it back. It was like a little rat, a
I
little
need
ferret.
that.
It was Monopoly money as well. They were right.
All right. So that is a very. How long did you work there for?
Like 5 years, I think, four or 5 years. Yeah.
That is a long
And I
time.
sort of got fired.
for
Oh.
being the grumpiest person in the world.
Well, yeah, I feel like they didn't like me anyway. But
Yeah.
I was doing a show at the comedy festival, and I called in sick, and I feel like that was a way that they thought they had got me, because they
Yeah.
were like, "You weren't sick, you were doing a show at the comedy festival."
Oh.
We know.
Oh yeah, because these people who you described before, the people just one step above you, they
Probably knew.
they would have researched what you were up to. They would have gone down a deep search into trying to find where you were, because they think their job's that important that they're allowed to do that. I know exactly what's happened. Keep going.
And yeah, but I think they were trying to get me out, because I wasn't like a good employee. And the longer you work there, the more you get paid. So I had been working there for a fair while, so I was on a level of income that I was on a pay. I mean, it's still not good pay or whatever, but like it was, they're just like, get him out, get a fresh one in.
Yeah,
you know?
cheaper.
Yeah.
The casino's notoriously short of cash as well.
Yeah.
Not that they're spending, money laundering in there, you fucking rat cunts. Anyway,
Yeah, absolutely.
kicking me out for my fucking hard-earned $50. Thank you. All I wanted was a bloody Grey Goose and Monster Energy.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
But I felt
Worst. What? It wouldn't even taste good. I was startled. I didn't realize it was free.
Yeah. Wouldn't your Perth mate have ordered a similar drink? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
he
That
was.
sounds-
But he was like, they
know.
they got
Yeah,
their
they
bogan
could tell.
class. They're
Yeah.
like Maui or something, that whatever they
Right,
saw
yeah,
on
yeah.
fucking, I don't know, Titanic. They were like, I'll have that.
They bring their own.
They knew
monster.
you were like, the bouncer knew you were the genuine article.
Yeah,
You weren't like
yeah.
They're from. They look like they're money from concreting, but they have a little bit of decorum. This one was like, this cunt's on the tools. Get him out.
Yeah, he's a concreter. Get him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt bad because the union rep was like really excited he's like, we can keep your job. Like, we can do it. And we
He
can
just
beat
sounds
him.
like a man in like a cheap suit that's a bit too small, who's just like walking around with a briefcase that's just full of nothing.
Totally, but he was fine. Like
Yeah.
he was lovely or whatever. But I was just like, brother,
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
I'm okay.
We're doing
I
this.
actually want to leave. No. Let's
Yeah.
take down the
Yeah,
system.
exactly. It's like, we can fight it. And I was like, but we don't have to. I can just get fired. And
That's
so I did.
fine.
Ah.
And then where'd you go from there? What was your job after that?
I was the moving man.
Oh, did you do?
Oh, we've had lots of removals.
Man with a
on.
van?
No, it was Little Red Trucks.
The more reputable one.
yeah.
And did you prefer that?
I mean, it was bad as well.
Yeah, it does.
It was in a lot of ways. Yeah, like I didn't enjoy. Did you like it?
I liked aspects of it. I liked the guys I worked with. I liked the camaraderie, guys and girls, because it was very mixed. Actually, a man with a man, which is good. I liked that aspect. I didn't mind lifting things and heavy shit and moving stuff. I just fucking hated some of the people. The customers are like fuck off, cunt.
Well, yeah. So you
Hey
went
mate, you need to actually do it and then you twist. There's like, man, I've put 3,000 chairs through a door. I reckon I'll figure it out, cunt.
Yeah. So you went from watching people lose their house to letting people move.
Oh yeah. Did you see a lot of people from the casino? You're like, fuck, he's back.
Or you're watching them everything get liquidated. Yeah, I knew this was coming, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would have been a nice little through line.
Yeah.
But
An idea for a movie, mate. If you want that, you can have it for free.
Thank you. No, like it was annoying. I felt like the richer you were, did you find this? Like the richer the people were, the heavier their stuff.
Yes.
Like a washing machine, like if it was a nice house, heavy washing machine.
Ah.
Yes.
So which was annoying. You
Made of
want to be
gold.
moving like a person in a room in a share house to a different room, or just like you want to be moving like people with cheap stuff, because it was all just like it didn't matter if it got damaged. Yeah, IKEA, all that sort of stuff.
But share house people, surely they're not getting a removalist.
Yeah,
share
but
house to
they,
a share
they
house.
sometimes do, because but
Wow.
I would say I enjoyed not their vibe all the time, but I enjoyed richer people's houses because the house was bigger, doorways were bigger, and their furniture was more sturdy, though it was heavier. Because when you're like, they had a thing where you're like, man, you can't move IKEA furniture. If it breaks, it's only meant to be where you build it, and you're not meant to move it.
It's made out of chipwood.
Yeah, it's made out of fucking glue and fucking sand and shit. It's like
Hopes and
they're proud that
promises.
it's only 10% wood or something,
Oh,
Actually, just to shit on the trucks company.
Hell
Actually, a
yeah, I
little
love
bit.
shitting on them levels, yeah.
The thing about them was that they were always like, I'm sure Man with a Van is similar. It's like they're all just like, we're all mates. We're actually mates. Like,
yes.
And you're just like, I hated that. Like I was just like, I am just working here and I don't even like it. Like, and I don't want to be
nothing
friends with
fun
any
about
of you
this.
guys or
Yeah,
any
yeah,
of that.
yeah.
Like, but they were like, we're all best mates and like we're going out for burgers. Like, off the clock, and I'm like, I'm not like, and I was like in trouble for like not coming for the after burger thing. And you're just like, this sucks. And anyway, but then they sent an email and they were just like, we realize we're not paying you minimum wage, so everyone's pay is going down like 45 cents or something. And you're just like, that's not
they
like
docked your pay.
that's not like in keeping with this like
We're mates.
bro mates culture.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't do both.
The
yeah.
removalist company I
Yeah.
worked at, and I've worked at too, so you can't fucking sue me. I don't know who it is. Well, you little cunt. And we've got an ongoing gripe.
We're going to get sued soon.
Yeah. So I've worked at several removals companies. This is one of them. The broy stuff was good. I meant the guys I worked with, I loved it. I love having a beer with them. I had a beer afterwards. I'm mates with a lot of them. I bump into them on the street. I fucking love all the guys. But they're like, their whole thing was, it's a broy thing. It's a broy thing. And we're like, yeah, that's great. We want this to be a union site because we don't feel like we're getting looked after. Oh, really? It's going to be, well, I mean, I guess, but yeah, if you do it union, then all the cool fun stuff is going to change. I was like, oh, what? So we don't get a fucking free 8 cent sausage anymore, and we don't get free beers. It's like, oh no, we're just a little company. It's like, you told me when you're on MDMA that you got a $4 million house and all this shit. You're like, and one of the managers went up to another guy when he was at a music festival and goes, mate, your back had made me $1 million. Thank you. And he told me at that festival, and I went over to his car, and you're lucky I didn't do it, you fucking cunt. And I saw his car, and I had my Leatherman on me. I was about to stab all 4 of his tires, but then I was like, Brett, calm down.
Had your bow and arrow.
I didn't have my bow and arrow.
Okay, well,
But he used, the guy, like, they do that, but this was like, the guys were good. Some of the office guys who were booking, but the main office crew were like, you guys are all fucking cunts. You don't give a shit. You're like, you just pretend that it's all cool and whatever, but you're just sniveling turds.
Well, like, I didn't mind if they're just like, you scum.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Like,
Just be honest.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just like, I'm completely fine with that dynamic. I just don't want to be like,
I'm used to it.
Man, let's hang out.
Yeah.
I'm like, hang out.
So weird. So weird.
Some of them, they try, like the office guys, oh man, we're shorter, but don't worry, mate, I'll be jumping in the truck today. You're like, oh, fuck off, cunt.
It's like Boost Juice. You know how they try and push, like, we're fun and young and everything's super exciting, and they've all got like different colour bandanas, and you see like the most depressed 14-year-olds just kind of walk, and they look so unsure, and the
Katy
music
Perry's
is blaring, and they're like squinting because it's so loud. And it's like, Boost, I can see the vibe you're going for,
Same
but
with
no
Grilled.
one's bought. No one's bought in.
But I actually spoke to someone who worked at Grill, and they're like, man, the food's good, and it was actually not a bad environment. But I was like, that mates thing, it's like, man, I don't reckon any of my mates would dog me over if once I had an injury, or I don't reckon my mates would fucking try and cancel my shifts because of something. And
but hanging out outside of work, I think that's weird when people are so obsessed with hanging outside of. So I did this corporate, it's like a few weeks ago now, and it was at 5 p.m. on a Friday, and I got there and I was like, oh, is this like because I just did 20 minutes of comedy, and there was like food and booze on the side, and I was like, oh, is this like a celebration for something? They're like, oh yeah, it's just Friday drinks, and I was like, oh okay, oh you do this every week? And they're like, yeah, and I was like, so many people are here, do they have to come? And they were like, no, they don't have to be here. I was like, oh, so I ripped in from the first like 5 minutes being like, you guys are allowed, like
You don't
work
have to
week
be
is
here.
over. And they were all grown-ups. Like I was like, surely some of you have got families. Surely some of you have got kids, partners, friends even outside of here. You don't have to stay here. And they were
you can tell
all
Brian was popular at work sites. I'm not hanging around you fucking losers. It's 5:01. See you,
Why
cunts.
would you want to hang out with them? You've seen them all day. You've got friends. If you don't have friends outside of work, this is actually a public announcement. If you don't have friends outside of work, something's gone wrong, okay?
Yeah.
Something has really gone wrong, and you need to like remedy that because it's very depressing.
We would only work with one guy, and there would be like 20 dudes at this two of the companies I worked at. And then, but that was good because you're like, oh, fuck, I'm working with this fucking guy. He's a fucking spud. And then you're like, all right, someone's finished at the same time. And like me and Lawrence were like, man, we're going to the fucking bar, dude. And there'll be like 8 dudes, the guys you like, and be like, anyway, I was working with this fucking idiot today, and I fucking told him this. And you're like, all this shit. And it's like so much fun, you know?
Yeah, sure. It's normal to hang out a little bit and to vent about work with people who you know. Sure. But to hang
Definitely,
out all
if
the
you like
time.
get along with a few people and then become friends and stuff. But yeah, like to like cultivate it as like a thing that you're all doing. Like,
Force it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
this one
find
that
it-
I was at was for, like there was like chefs there preparing this food. And I was like, okay, I get it. Like this food's nice, and the drinks are lovely.
Free drinks?
Yeah, it's
I'll
all
stay for
free
that.
for them.
I'll
But I
stay
was
for
like,
that.
no. Well, if you've been at work for 5 days and you got family at home, you'd stay for that.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
I wouldn't like my
That's why I'll
family.
never marry you, Brett.
No. Well,
So
fuck.
fast.
What a hard way to find out live on a podcast.
No. Oh, you almost
front of
got
my
me
mate
over the
Jay as
line
well.
with your go bag.
Yeah.
That sounds like a man who's going to stick around.
Yeah. No, the go bags just in case someone rings and says I'm pregnant. See ya.
Red
Oof.
flag.
Oh, come on. I can't even have a joke on a comedy podcast.
That's disgusting. No wonder you hang out with only workmates.
Yeah.
What a fucking loser. Okay, I have to know this really quickly before. You gave up comedy, which means to me, it seems that you might have had a bad gig in there. What's the worst gig you ever had in your time in comedy?
Was doing a comedy festival show and
A whole show.
yeah, well,
Wow.
it was a split show actually.
Okay, so half a show, yeah.
And there was like and I was never able to look at the poster for it the same way afterwards.
Yep.
Because we were like, ooh, a few pre-sales tonight. Very poorly attended show.
Yep.
But we were like, oh, it was like a Tuesday or something. We're like, oh, this is pretty good. There's like 20 or something.
Oh, great.
And it was like a special ed class.
Oh, no.
And they were all about 15 and they were all like, you know, they all brought backpacks with like food and like
They're preppers as
cracking
well.
cokes
Nice.
and stuff.
Nice.
Was Bretty in it?
Yeah.
And
boys.
So, and I remember
After work drinks.
Yeah. And I was doing that. I remember it was a split show. It was like me and Danielle Walker, and like she had a joke about a pig.
Oh, I
And,
think I remember this show
and she-
poster.
yeah.
So I just need to know, what was the show called? Why would they think this was an appropriate show to bring?
It was called
15-year-olds?
Illuminati Karate Party.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So
And
that
it was
it's perfect.
Yeah, and the poster once I was looking at it through the lens of some special ed teachers going like, yeah, we'll go.
Yeah.
It kind of did look like a sort of like Shark Boy, you know, like it kind of looked like a fun sort of
Like a kid's-
zany show where it was just 2 people doing stand up.
What time was
Because you
it? Early?
6.
So perfect.
And you were in,
Perfect
I think you were in
for
karate
teenagers.
gear
Yeah,
doing
in
weird
karate gear,
poses
yeah.
and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like they were right. You were
Yeah,
wrong.
no, it was, we
correct.
but anyway, and yeah, I remember she was doing a joke about a pig, and they all started going like that.
It's very supportive.
Yeah, and stuff like that. No laughs the whole time. It was bad. I didn't deal with things like that well. Like I didn't get into the spirit of it. I was just doing my jokes.
Oh, so you didn't
like
embrace it. It could have been great. They might have imagined you.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh no, 100%. I should have done something, and I did. I just did my material to people who were just confused and.
There were 2 other people apart from the group that were in there.
No, just their teachers.
Oh yeah, so
or like carers or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're just playing to them, going, "This is
hell."
Yeah.
So it's not even like nothing specific
show.
happened, but it was just like I'm just bombing up here, and I cannot
The
relate.
oinking thing was fun, but like
So
I'm trying to think
funny.
was there anything?
It's
Yeah, they were just
so
like I mean they were
good.
just like and they were just the
But
amount they were like opening chips and like Cokes and stuff the whole time. It was like
Chatting.
I was like
The amount of disrespect I saw that night.
yeah,
Oh my
I was
God.
like it was a bad show.
Danielle Walker, we've had her on the podcast before. I love her so much, and she does talk about animals a lot. She has maybe the most adorable, infectious laugh in the world. Was she embracing it? Was she laughing, or was she thrown as well?
I think she was thrown as well, is
Okay.
my recollection. But maybe I'm sure she handled it better than me. I mean, I feel like at the end of doing that run, it was like I sort of stopped doing comedy like soon after.
Oh wow,
that show.
they destroyed you. If only they knew.
Yeah. And I remember she sort of was like, I think you should focus on, the film stuff.
Okay.
she sort of told
If
me.
this isn't you, if you're not,
I
yeah.
feel
This is a
like,
big part of the
it was
job
like-
is being able to be in front
it
of people.
was very clear that she was. I feel like like going in, we were just like, oh yeah, no, we were like, but yeah, she was just so much like, and she was much newer to comedy as well than me. I'd been doing it for a lot longer.
Right.
She was a lot better. It was
Sure.
like it was kind of an uneven show.
And when you were spiraling on stage, you were wearing a karate outfit.
just in the poster,
Just
I
in
was
the
wearing
poster,
civilian clothes.
I was going to say that would
yeah.
have been way cooler.
That would have been cool. A bomb
Maybe
and a
they were
karate outfit.
disappointed because you looked
I'm
like
sure
it was
they
going
were
to be.
disappointed.
Yeah. Man, I thought he'd be doing roundhouses and shit up there. He's fucking talking about fucking God knows what his feelings or some
Yeah,
shit. Just hit a bit of wood and fuck off, brother.
And it was all my stuff was all super crook as well. I feel like it was all
Right, okay.
I
just
don't
like so-
remember much of your gig,
yeah.
but I do remember we used to gig a lot at the Imperial together. But I did find you extremely funny, though, on stage. I really enjoyed your stand-up.
Did you
Thanks.
wish he was in a karate outfit though?
Oh, I don't know if it
Every
would.
time?
Yeah, actually, now
Every
I do.
time.
Yeah.
Would have been better.
That would've been, yeah.
That's a tip.
Just at the end anyway, and I
like-
hold up a bit of wood and he just fucking
Yeah.
fucking
would've been-
roundhouse
yeah.
out of my hand. But we got to wrap this up, guys. We're past the hour mark. Jay, thank you very much for joining us and sharing us your great stories. Have you got anything to plug on the podcast besides, obviously, the Emu War?
No, just that. Go and see. I mean, check us out, like Hot Dad Productions on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
Really
Yes,
good stuff.
yep,
If you haven't
yep.
already done it, it's so fucking funny.
And how do people find the Emu War?
You can rent it on on YouTube, Amazon, Apple TV.
Oh, great.
All that stuff.
Easy.
You can buy the DVD. Go to the Umbrella Entertainment website for all the information on everything. It's going to be in the cinemas in Bendigo in October.
Oh, great.
Special screening for the Bendigo Comedy Festival.
Awesome.
Oh yes. Which day? Do you remember which date?
It's the Tuesday. I don't know. I think it's the 14th.
Tuesday in October.
Yeah,
The one
14th
I
of
know
the
that
Yeah,
Tuesday.
check out Bendigo Comedy Festival on the Instagram and all that stuff. And please get behind it because it's an Australian production with a lot of Australian comedian performers and people like Jay who are making this great stuff, give other comedian work and stuff like that. So it's, man, keep it going, download it. Would it be like $6-7? Fucking come on. Australian content
Yes.
that's funny for once. Fuck me dead.
Hey.
Yeah.
It is very funny.
It's very good. All right, guys. Until next time. If you're already not on the
Thanks,
Patreon, make sure you do so. Thank you very much for joining us, Jay, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
I went into the class one day, real bullets. Kill me.